So Alexander Walton is the best men's coach, the best player, the best person, one of the best people I've met in the last few years of my life. He tells it how it is. He makes people feel good about themselves, but he's actually genuine about it. He's not fake. He's real. And I don't know how it gets any, I don't really know how to extrapolate on that, except that he's going to make you laugh. He's going to make you think. He's going to make you smile. He's going to make you really dig in and decide, do I want to be the guy that I want to be, or do I want to be a bitch? So strap in, put your seatbelt on, and get ready for this podcast.
Oh, smokes. I guess I should say something, which is I was like a depressed kid, not happy. The reason why I got into what I'm into now is because I was unhappy, and I got into it because I had to figure it out. And then there was a point where I decided I have to choose either give up or don't. And if I don't, then I have to strive for greatness. And that was enough for me to decide to go for it. And so there's a lot of, I want to be a Renaissance man. So we talked earlier, you and I, Andrew, about becoming a Renaissance man. And when you said that about, there's these core areas, I was like, yeah, that's sort of, we've come to the same conclusion without ever meeting each other. So so there are truths, right?
No, truth is universal.
And so I'm just trying to find what that is and embody as best as I can.
So what made you sad when you were a kid?
The quick version is, refugee on one side, billionaire grandpa.
Wow.
Ousted, money on his head after that. So first billionaire, self-made. Then there's a revolution in Iran. Now there's money on your head and your whole family. Then your child and all your children are trying to escape on one side. And then there's, on the other side, my dad, half black, in the 40s. His father, jazz musician. His mom, random white woman, in the 40s. In West Virginia.
Wow. That wasn't normal then.
No. Like, there's still white and black water fountains. So, a lot of trauma on both sides. Yeah. So I think that's a piece of what, we inherit. So I think that there is a big part of, that's what all of us here, like Corbin, Andrew, the homies here, we all deal with what our parents gave us as far as how they treat us and how they, deal with us.
Yeah.
And there's just so many downstream effects from that.
Yeah. You hear they say it's epigenetics now, where trauma can be passed down through generations through actual like DNA. In the Bible, it says the sins of the father will be passed down to the son. The hippies talk about generational curses.
Damn.
But there's a lot of similarities, and I think what's cool is we live in an era where we're like maybe the first generation that can really like fix all this stuff through our wealth of information. Guys like you, showing people what to do. Because in our parents' generation, or especially our grandparents, it was kind of they didn't have many outlets to open their mind or explore.
What do you think is the solution?
To what?
How do we fix that? We didn't have that. Now we do. What do we do about it?
That's a great question. I think we talked about truth. I think the truth, even if it's whispered on top of a mountain, will always be more powerful than a lie from a megaphone, But I believe it. I think with social media and all these outlets leaving the mainstream, it leaves room for the truth to come out, people to know what to do.
I'm listening to you, brother.
No, go ahead. I think from a man's perspective, being a man is tough. It's like a lifelong journey of building strength, building power, building character.
It is.
Collecting scars, collecting traumas, overcoming them, all those things.
Yes.
And we don't really tell that to young boys. We kind of tell them, oh, it's easy. Just go to college, get a job. It's going to be great. But truth is, it's like a lifelong walk up a staircase, constant self-mastery. As far as women, I don't know. I don't talk to women a lot or give advice to them too much.
Yeah.
That's not my realm.
What do you mean? You don't talk to women. What do you mean?
I talk to women.
You just only put out fires and be a hero all the time. you don't give them the opportunity to speak to you.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm in a position of authority. I don't know. I don't have daughters, so I don't like to.
Do you have sons?
No kids.
No kids.
What about you?
Would you like kids?
Yeah, I could see it one day. Ironically, I really wanted kids when I was about 23, your age.
Really?
A lot.
I want kids so fucking bad.
I just got to that point recently.
Dude, I want
just
kids
got
so
to that
fucking
point.
bad.
Me too, but I just got there.
Yeah.
Like I was you know what?
Do I want them now? Fuck no. But do I want them? Yeah. I've always been a big family oriented guy. Maybe it was the way I was raised. I don't know. I hate how like all the family's separated now. Like there's not a lot of family orientation where everybody stays together, everybody helps each other out. I think that's why I'm really into Latinas, is because like the Mexican
Family
culture,
oriented?
yeah, they're super family oriented,
That's so funny.
and I love that about them. And I think that's why
Brandon just put up
That's
his
why I
drink.
like him too.
dude, I'm.
Mic up here. Please put it up here.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, you said you just got to that point. Was there a point in time where you were like
Yeah.
questioning like whether
Yeah, big time.
one of those things where it's like you don't know if you want to bring a kid into this world?
Not even questioning. I was certain that I didn't want to, man. That there was a point when I didn't want to continue with the whole this version of the simulation. I'm trying to say it to not get you guys banned. You guys understand what I'm saying. I was kind of like, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
And when I felt like that, I was like, why would I want to bring a child into that feeling?
Yeah.
I don't want to it felt to me I was nihilistic. So my view and vision of the world was negative. And I didn't think that it was like that would be cruel. It would be selfish just to bring a child into the world for your own genetic purposes and biological purposes. But you don't really, if you don't enjoy life, if you think that life is a burden or a curse as opposed to a gift and a beautiful thing, then why would you do that? And that's how I saw it then.
Yeah.
But then I saw it differently eventually. It changed because I started to believe that, okay, now life is like a beautiful thing. And I just started to think about it like I really love the idea of raising some like beautiful kids who can learn from all of my mistakes and don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about raising kids in America with like divorce law and family court and things like that?
I think that marriage is a problem in the West. And I don't just mean the States, but probably like all the Western countries. UK, Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, over 50% of marriages end in divorce. It doesn't make any sense to get... Like, I've always said, like, I'd get married under a church to have a wedding and stuff like that, but I don't ever want to get married, like, under the government.
That's the real problem I have with marriage is why do we need to involve the government?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't want to get lawyers involved in a relationship.
Yeah, we're two humans, right?
Yeah.
Why are there like entities that are completely separate from us?
Yeah, the profit off of us splitting.
Yeah.
You
The
know, so
tax
they want
benefits,
that.
bro. Tax benefits.
Well,
No.
so maybe we could talk about this for a little bit. I don't have a lot of opinions about this aside from getting married as a man is a net negative, in my opinion. And as a woman, it's a net positive. So if I were coaching a woman who was dating a rich man and she didn't really like him that much, but she wanted to, secure a bag, I would tell her, get him to marry you. Here's how you can get him to do that. And if it were a man, I would say, don't put a ring on it. Or put a ring on it, but don't make it official under the government. And doesn't that tell you something? What does that tell you? I've worked with billionaires, professional athletes, military, SWAT team members, police. I've worked with investors, bankers, public speakers. What does that indicate to you when I say, hey, watch out for this, versus what I would tell the women? What does that tell you? You tell me.
One side benefits more than the other. Well, so how do you go about finding a mother of your children?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
But you coach guys on how to attract women.
Well, I feel like attracting women and then getting a mother to your children are different things. Because, I mean, it's easy to go out and just talk to a chick and get a one-night stand, get a girlfriend for a
Maybe
time
for
or
you.
two. Well,
But you guys are both studs.
but no, there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration if you want to bring a child in.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do a lot more vetting.
Yes.
I mean, if you're just running around having fun, it doesn't really matter. You could just throw some game and call it a night.
That's correct.
So we were talking about this earlier, about dating and young men. I feel like there's a big divide between the sexes right now, especially in the 30 and below. I feel like so many guys are just falling off the social ladder. They're giving up on women and staying inside. Do you notice this?
Yes.
I guess they call it the incel movement, but
Yeah. That's very common.
how do you tackle this? Just guys that feel like getting a girlfriend may as well be like winning the lottery, and they just don't get any connection with girls and
I'm
can't make
speaking
it
to
happen.
those guys.
Well, just what do we do? What do those guys do?
Well, for those guys, I think that they're probably focused on the wrong thing. Like, of course you want the girlfriend, but you're probably not doing. Yeah, you probably know someone who's not doing the right things and they have a girlfriend. Someone who's not doing the right things and they have a girlfriend, right?
Sure.
I think what those guys need is to be focused on the basics, the fundamentals, the foundations. They should be going to the gym. Like you have to take care of the basics, the fundamentals. If you're trying, look, okay, let me tell you a story. It's not really a story. It's sort of like a saga that I'm going to summarize. There was a period of my life. I traveled for 8 years around the world. For 30, 40 countries. I was mostly broke, and sometimes I was rich, but I didn't manage it well, but it was fine because I did what I needed to do, and it was amazing. And I got great clients, very impressive clients, whatever. And met a lot of beautiful women, and it was incredible. There was a period there where I was broke, had never seen the inside of a gym. How do I say it nicely?
Slaying puss.
Oh, we can say that here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where I was having a nice time
Yeah.
with some beautiful women all over the world, and there were guys who had so much more money than me,
Yeah.
and they were so much more jacked.
Yeah.
I remember there was a model. She's from Bulgaria. I can say that safely. And he was this prominent, basically a prince. Imagine that. Not actually, but essentially. I was skinny and broke. Never been in the gym at that point. I was 24, never worked out. All I was doing was drinking and being awesome. Bro, she cheated on her now husband, who she has multiple kids with me. And I didn't even know she had a partner, by the way, in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, until later, like a year or two later. She told me later.
Scandalous.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a girlfriend, so I didn't feel really
Yeah.
I didn't feel scandaled. You know, she was kind of just it was always
on her.
casual between her and I.
Yeah.
And then eventually she was like, by the way, and I was like, oh, fuck. It didn't feel like she had finessed me because it never felt like that between us. It was always, but she's a literal model. She's gorgeous. I can show you guys after.
Okay.
How does that make you feel? Like if you're in a situation like that where I don't know, you're talking to this chick, but then she says, "Oh, I have a husband." Are you gonna Are you the type of guy that's gonna continue and be like, okay, well, doesn't matter if she wants me, or are you gonna be the kind of guy that's more like, well, out of respect for her husband, I'm just not gonna talk to her anymore?
I go back and forth on this, but I wish I was more of the guy who. I wish I was more of the guy who would say, "Fuck it."
Fuck it.
I wish I was, but I'm just not. I'm trying to be more of that. Your audience might not like it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I wish I was more the guy who would say, "Fuck it." I'm gonna go for it.
Really?
I'm just not, I guess. But you know what?
Well, I don't think that's a bad thing. That's how I am. Like,
I would look. Most of the women who I've hooked up with who were in a relationship didn't tell me
Yeah.
until afterwards.
Yeah.
So that girl who I just mentioned, the model chick, the Bulgarian, I didn't know she was in a relationship. She
Yeah.
told me like a year later.
Yeah. No, there's nothing you can do after that point.
I didn't know.
But
I would like to be a bit more, like in my mind,
yeah.
intentional. But that's but I guess I have like a bit too much of a conscience.
Yeah.
You're just too good with women, man.
No,
Too many options.
I don't think so. I think I'm just okay. I'm just good.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
too good. I'm just better than I was.
Yeah.
So what is your definition of charisma?
Charisma. I
Yeah.
think charisma is like the ability to. I think charisma is the ability, like Riz, right? Now the kids they're saying Riz. I think charisma is the ability to put a smile on the face.
Yeah.
It's energy. It's transmitting energy. If I decide how I want to make you feel, I'm going to be able to read you, Andrew, who I've never met, and I can put a smile. You see that smile? I put it on your face.
Yeah.
You see that smile on Corbin? I put it on your face. You can't see, and you can't see.
What's the best dating app?
Bumble or Tinder?
It's Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
But we already know that.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of dating apps. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it just makes it
They're
so
gay.
much.
They suck.
Yeah, they say, oh, it makes it so much easier to talk to women. Like, you could just swipe. If you like them, text them or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially for men or whatever that you're coaching, it's like they don't get the ability to go out and have a conversation like they used to at bars. Like, you don't have to walk up to women and start a conversation with them anymore.
correct.
And I think that's one of the reasons that, like you mentioned earlier, like the society of men is just on a downfall. That and porn is a big one. Like,
Yeah.
I think porn is probably the biggest reason that men are as degenerate as they are today.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it makes men so socially awkward when they overindulge in porn.
Yeah.
And it like lowers your testosterone when you're just busting nuts all the time. And
Dopamine.
women smell your testosterone level. I don't know what the mechanism is, but they can tell when you're fit and virile
Yeah.
versus like depleted and jacked off 5 times a day before. Like,
I love how you said it, virile. That's exactly how I said it too to my girls as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, but it's true, and it also porn kind of like it's like eating McDonald's versus a steak. I mean,
Yeah.
it will fill you up, but it's not good. And
You know, you know what's interesting? Like, you just reminded me. One of my clients asked me this week about, hey, I went to a ceremony, ayahuasca ceremony,
yeah,
right? Hey, the lady who was conducting the ceremony, she said that if, well, hey, if you're like engaging with too many women, because my client's like doing really well with women now, obviously. That you're getting like distracted and blah blah blah. And he's like, is it true what she was saying that like, okay, if I'm so if I have women around, like, should I not be? It's an energy drain, like energy vampirism. And I was like, well, not necessarily. Like, I think if you're jerking off, it's one thing,
Yeah.
right? And then if you're having sex with women, it's a different thing. Because if you're, I think in my experience, this is my experience, I'd be curious to hear from both of you guys, that women are one of the greatest energy sources that exist. And I feel rejuvenated by women,
Yeah.
especially good women, but basically any woman. Even if she's not a good woman who I don't want to spend time with, I'm still like in the moment. If she's cool enough in the moment, I'm like, I feel excited because she's a feminine woman. Feminine energy is a drug to men.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I completely agree, and I think it's different. So if you're in a situation where you're just like banging hoes like left and right, just woman,
Like Corbin.
woman. No. But
Don't put him on blast.
no, but like if you're just like cycling,
He's a virgin.
Yeah. If you're just like cycling through women, like I feel like you don't get that feminine energy that you're talking about. I feel like it's only whenever you like have that one woman that is there for you at the times like whenever you need her and you're having the deep conversations. I feel like that feminine energy is good.
Well,
but
yeah.
if you're just running through it, I feel like it's not quite the same.
It's not the same. You're right.
Yeah.
But both are feminine.
Yeah, they are. I think it's good. I think it's good fun.
Maybe I'm trying to corrupt you.
Oh, sex is powerful, no doubt about it.
I'm
Yeah.
not even saying sex though.
Yeah. I think it can be draining if you don't know who you are as a man and you're just trying to fulfill all the needs of the women over and over, just trying to, I don't know, get them to like you to some extent. Like,
I
it
think
can
that-
be draining.
I agree with that it can be draining, and I think the problem is that we're trying to get them to like us, and I don't think that that's the move.
Yeah.
Everyone is trying to impress everyone else, and I think that's the problem. What I tell people is, you know, my clients, I've been doing this, guys. I've been doing this for myself, not professionally, not getting paid for it, but for myself since 2007. How old were you in 2007?
7.
Okay, you were born in 2000?
Yeah.
Okay, you were 7 years old. I was 15, okay? So I started this as an obsession. When I say obsession, I mean I haven't done anything else more important since you were 7 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And what, you're like 35?
39. So in 07, I was 23.
Okay. So when you were 23, I was 15. And since you were 23, there has been nothing else I have done.
Like the obsession of wanting to teach men how to get women and stuff, or just like understanding.
No. I didn't
women
care.
and stuff?
I didn't care about teaching anything. No,
You just wanted to learn yourself.
You student?
I was trying not to kill myself, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted hope.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing about depression. I feel like it's the absence of hope. All you need is just a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
and you can claw out of that cave,
Yeah.
or the hole, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's once you lose the hope, that's the beginning of the end.
But that's what was good for you. Was the obsession.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think that's what like helped you out of that, like the place that you were in? Like
I just needed hope.
specifically, yeah,
I thought I was ready to end it. I was like, I just don't have hope. I
But once you
wasn't.
started getting results, you started to get the hope too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's working.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't. I had no intentions of being a coach.
yeah,
Zero. That was not my goal.
yeah,
I just wanted to solve how I felt
yeah,
because I felt really bad all the time.
yeah,
You
And
know,
I-
so I have a theory about
Please.
initial shortcomings, whether they're like you're an unathletic kid or you're a depressed kid or a low IQ person. Sometimes that's almost a blessing in disguise because you're forced to learn how to improve that aspect. And what happens is as the years start going on, you go way past the guys that had it naturally to like a far above average because you learn the ability to train happiness or to train your mindset or to train your body,
Okay.
if that makes sense. And so had you not started like that, you may be less than you are now,
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And I'm curious, what do you think about how does that play out as far as, well, if you had started a little bit farther ahead and that lends you a little bit, in the earlier stages, a little bit closer to where you want to be, how do you think that plays out? And what do you think, what's the best way to raise someone? Let's say you have all the money, you're the perfect role model. How would you raise your kid, with this sort of concept in mind?
I guess it depends if it's a boy or girl. You know, if it's
Let's
a boy,
talk about a boy first.
if it was a boy, I would kind of get them used to competing early, getting used to regulating their emotions early.
Okay.
Not making them feel bad for, say, being sad or whatever, but starting to lay that foundation of strength and character,
How?
I think team sports are great.
Yep.
Whatever sport that is kind of, some may be harder than others. We can argue and split hairs, but in general, just physical competition is a good outlet for kids. It teaches a lot of brotherhood and stuff, but also just dealing with loss, dealing with victory. You know?
Yeah.
I would do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of theories that these kids that were born at the end of their grade versus the beginning. So there's a study with hockey players. They took like hockey players in the first grade, and there's kids that just barely made the cutoff, and they're the youngest kid in their class. And then there's kids that are right at the other end, and they're the oldest kid. And like at that age, 1 year actually is a big physical development spurt. So they found that the kids that were on the little bit older end of the hockey teams performed better. They got used to winning. They started having the belief of, oh, I'm a champion. I'm a natural. I'm good at this.
Wow.
And you just follow their career, and it just continues.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so feeling like you're a winner early is important. And I think me being who I am, I would know how to give my son nutrition. I would know how to have healthy sleep habits, taking away tablets. I would know proper training. I would know how to make training fun, not burn him out, and kind of give him that head start early so that he always feels like he's a winner, but not cocky.
Yeah.
Keep him humble.
Okay.
You know, easier said than done. I'm not.
No, you would crush. If you were my client, I'd be telling you, hey, bro, you're a superhero.
Yeah.
And you look a little bit, slightly, not super, but slightly uncomfortable to accept that. Am I right or wrong?
I don't like to call myself a hero because there's a lot of really good firefighters.
Exactly.
That are just as capable, if not more capable than
That's
me.
my point. That's my point.
Well, I'm very proud of what I do, and I am glad that I chose this path. And
I respect it greatly. Yeah, it's people like you who save lives. I think you should see yourself a little bit like a hero.
Well, let me tell you this. So within, say, the firefighting world, if we found out some guy was running around telling everybody, oh, I'm a hero, I do this, he would almost be like chastised.
Of course you would. Of course.
There was actually a pretty cool
But
moment.
if I said it.
Yeah, but if so it was a pretty cool moment. One of the guys I work with, he got a Medal of Merit, Medal of Honor for saving this woman in a fire. I guess they walked in and there was an 8-year-old woman that had like passed out from smoke inhalation, and she was on the bed, and they got her up and got her out of the house. But it was cool because he has this 5-year-old son, and so his son got to come and see his dad get the award, and so that's pretty cool. You know, that's kind of the hero shit when you really get like a rescue.
Yeah.
I think. You know.
Okay, so that's like within the world though of firefighting, right?
Yeah.
But to an outsider,
that's like a fighter not thinking he's shit unless he's like the UFC champion.
yeah,
But it's like, man, you're still in the UFC. You're still pretty good.
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know.
In your sphere of men's coaching, if there's one thing, a young man that's watching this and maybe needs a life coach, if there's one thing that you see as a pattern in all these men that you're coaching, what is that one thing that you think that they could change that would change their current situation?
no one gives themselves enough credit.
Yeah.
Because you have to strike a very careful balance between confident and humble, like arrogant and gay. If you're overcompensating, that's too much. No one likes it.
Yeah.
And if you're like too timid, then no one's impressed.
Yeah.
And I think one thing one of my mentors told me one time is he said, you should focus on expressing yourself, not trying to impress others.
I like that.
And I always remember that. That's one of my key like philosophies to this day. And he's basically like, okay, you're out there talking to girls, right? Or I'm here on the podcast with all the cameras and I'm talking to you guys. Am I trying to impress you guys, or am I trying to express myself?
Yeah.
And the ideal would be that you're trying to express yourself, yes, rather than trying to impress. Like I'm trying. The alternative is I'm trying to. Okay, Andrew, we've just met. I'm trying to judge your outfit, your job, your.
Is this color okay? It's kind of like an off-white.
Your mentality, yeah, looks great. Looks
Thanks,
great.
man.
Your mentality. Hey, does he like me? How do I say it properly so that he thinks that I'm impressive? I'm trying to micromanage your impression of me moment to moment, which is exhausting.
Yeah.
As opposed to just saying what I feel.
I love what you said there. It's similar. Have you, either of y'all ever read the book Power versus Force?
No.
It's basically a book on the different levels of human consciousness. Okay? And so there's like these different levels of human consciousness, and on the like feeling spectrum, like your emotions, the worst emotion that a human can have is shame. Like just shameful for themselves or something that they've done. That's like the lowest vibration emotion that you can have. And the highest is authenticity, being real, being true to yourself. Because like what you said, it's, what's the...
Impression, expression.
Yes. So authenticity is the best human emotion that you can have.
Yes.
Because you don't have to micromanage. You
Exactly.
don't have to think.
Exactly.
You can be present. You can be in the moment. It's basically forced meditation for any situation that
That's
you're
expression.
in. Yeah.
That's the point that my mentor made, and I always think about that.
And it's hard. It's not always easy because
Seems like it's easy for you.
It's not. It's not. I micromanage all the time. Like with this podcast specifically, I'm really trying to be as authentic as I can. Because that's something that I wanted to do. That's why the podcast that I did with my brothers, I think, failed. Is because we were trying to be people that we weren't. We were trying to teach people and things that we were still learning ourselves. We got imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And so with this one, I'm genuinely just curious on learning. Because I don't have anything to teach anybody. I just want to gather all the information.
You do have things to teach.
Yeah.
You are extremely genuine.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, so
trying
am
my
I.
best.
When you say that, I'm like, damn, like I don't, like people want to learn from me, but I don't have, like
You feel like you have nothing to offer.
not
Maybe
nothing,
not nothing, but like
not nothing, but I definitely feel like
maybe there's somebody that knows it better. They would be a better teacher or something like that. That's the feeling that I always had.
I definitely feel, I'm trying to think of like how I actually experience it, which is very similar to what you just said, where I'm basically not giving, I'm like, I don't know it as well as I think I should know it.
The imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
But
it's not
I
easy.
know you,
Yeah.
and you're fucking awesome. And I've worked with 1,000+ people, and a lot of them are way more rich than we are.
Yeah.
But they could learn from you,
Yeah.
and that's why
They're
we're
also
friends.
learning from the questions you ask our guests too.
Yeah.
So you're indirectly kind of teaching that way.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and also, what do you think about imposter syndrome? Is there something like?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, because like, do you think like I kind of have a feeling like people who don't have imposter syndrome, maybe you aren't even thinking about that.
I was gonna say I think it's kind of a necessary part. It's almost like jealousy. Like there's a certain amount of healthy jealousy in a relationship.
It's like
And-
a necessary evil.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self-checking mechanism. Like, am I really as good as I say I am, or am I really what all these people say I am? Is the hype real? And it's kind of a self-checking instinct. I think people that don't have it ever, they're the ones that are almost like narcissistic or somewhat delusional. You know, everyone who's really focused will always be self-evaluating, and I think I don't think it should ever be crippling. You know, and I think
listening.
There's a certain point where you can't. Like, there's all kinds of stories of really famous musicians and stuff that are at the height of their career that always have imposter syndrome. So it might be one of those character traits that almost spurns on greatness because you're always reevaluating yourself and thinking there's more I can do, there's more I can do, I can do better, the next level. I think you can be authentic and still be self-motivated to improve and deliver the best version of yourself and to be the best version of yourself without being fake.
Yeah. Being a legend.
Man, I think there's a saying that says people don't remember what you do or say, they remember how you made them feel.
Ooh.
And so if you just create a lifetime legacy of making
Yes.
people feel better about themselves or
Yes.
helping them have little breakthroughs or learn something, that's kind of how you really live on in
Yeah.
people's memories.
I love it.
Beyond
I love
that,
it.
there's always, be a billionaire, build a college, buy a city,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Sure,
Maybe
sure.
not. But for the average man, it's how you make people feel.
Yes, dude, I love it. I love that. I love that, bro. And you know, what you said earlier about me was really nice, Corbin.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what you said about me is what you just said also, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you make people feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the legacy I want to leave behind.
Yeah.
That goes a long way with women. I find
It's
when I'm
too- it's
aware of my
overpowered.
tone and I am conscious of speaking clearly and deeply and articulately, it's much more responsive. And I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? You know, that stuttering nasally voice is not attractive to women.
Yeah. Well, it's something it's something you just gotta train too.
Yeah.
Like, because I catch myself on the podcast. Like, there's a difference between, like you said, like talking from your sternum, talking with a deep voice.
Yes.
Just boldly, talking boldly from your stomach and your diaphragm, versus talking from your head. Like your voice is, I don't know, more higher pitched and anxious.
I read that when men are around women they're attracted to, their voice naturally lowers and slows down. And
Really?
And when women
I
are
would
around,
think it'd be the opposite.
well, I think it's once you get past the initial 30 minutes of nervousness, then but then with women it's the opposite. When they're around a man they like, they start talking faster and higher pitched.
Wow. Holy shit. You know what I think it is? There's two things, and I don't know. So I'm not telling you that this is what it is. But I think part of it is how comfortable are you in general with women?
Yeah.
Because that's part of it,
Yeah.
for sure. If you're a dork and you're around some super hottie and you're super into her, your voice isn't gonna get deeper and relaxed.
Yeah.
No, trust me, I've
It's going
been
to
there.
get more anxious.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
but that's one part. So once you have a little bit of experience, I think yes. But then also there's another part which is once she maybe she can realize it after you've been to that point, and she's like, oh, there's a synergy because there has to be in my experience, you could be already past that point, and sometimes it just doesn't hit like that.
Yeah.
Right? And you might already be past that nervousness point, but she's just not, you just don't connect like that. Even though you might find each other attractive, it just doesn't, the synergy isn't there.
But the same word with a different tone is just night and day different effect. Okay, here's a fun thing to think about.
All right.
Let's say you're a billionaire. We're all billionaires. We have all the money in the world, but we want to do some kind of charity or some kind of plan with our money to help people. What would that mega plan be with money's not an option? What's your big...
I was told what to do.
Really?
Education.
Education.
Yes. If we could teach the kids how to think and about self-development and how to look at themselves, self-image, how to relate to their male friends, to the girls in their class as young kids.
Just how to interact with the world around you.
Yeah, on an interpersonal level.
Yeah.
That's my mission. So and also I think that everything comes down to your relationship with yourself and your relationship with other humans, and everything stems from there. There's obviously much more.
Yeah.
Your education and your fields, and they stem from that. But that's where everything starts, right?
Yeah.
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 So I think if I had all of the money in the... I don't think. That has been my goal since 15. If I got all of the money in the world, it would be to dedicate it towards this mission.
Yeah.
I don't know what the goal, what the exact goal is. I'm like, maybe I can find some smarter people than me. Hey, now that I'm a billionaire, could you help me out? What do you think is the goal?
Well, you're doing it now. You're doing it now. You're giving out all the free content and educating people.
Yeah, but I just saw my nephew yesterday. Mm-hmm. He's 12.
Yeah.
He visited here for football, but he's from California, and he's seeing some of my stuff that I showed him. He's like, "Can you give me your TikTok?" And I was like, "I need to look. I don't know if I can give you my
age appropriate."
Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate. He's like, "No, trust me, I'm grown."
He's gonna be on TikTok anyway. Would you rather him?
He is on
would
TikTok.
you rather him get advice from you about real life?
Trust me. I told him some stuff.
It's your Liver King.
Yeah.
But my point is just that how can we make those pieces of wisdom we wish we had back then applicable across entire society? Like, how do we make that standardized? That would be what I would do with all the money. If I had, I already accomplished everything. I already got all the vacations and all the cool cars, and we already had all the cool parties and everything that we wanted, and we're 60 or 70, and we're like, all right, how do we make a difference now? That would be it. And it's been like that since that one night at 15.
Yeah.
That would be it. And I think that's a worthy endeavor.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly it is.
Absolutely.
How do we
I feel like that's kind of what we're trying to do with this entire podcast, because I'm obsessed with information. Part of the reason is because I'm not a multimillionaire yet, so I know that there's information out there that I don't know, and that's why it's so fun having all these guests on here that come from different walks of life and have different businesses and different outlooks on life, because I can learn all the information. I'm sure if I want to learn the information, there's somebody else out there that's going to benefit from it as well.
Yes.
I saw this really, really good quote, and it said, we need to stop talking about what a good man should be and just start being one. It's that.
Stop talking about what a good man should be and just be one.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Lead by example.
Yes.
Leading, just being a good human and
Yes.
doing. People will observe you, and then they'll pick up on
Express yourself. Don't try to impress anyone.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be that.
Yeah.
I think, too, people get caught up thinking that I'm not a hero unless I'm a billionaire that can change the world with the stroke of a pen, write a check, create this idea. But we're all presented these unique opportunities where we're with people that, like you're around, let's say your mom. Mm-hmm. You're the only one around her. It's not going to be some other hero across the world, So we all kind of have this ripple effect of our day-to-day life and the small acts of kindness and stuff. Like, if everyone was doing that, being the best man they could, it would just transform the world in like a generation or two.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. There's a lot of distractions.
Yeah, but we're like, what you guys are doing is really amazing to me, because I think that this is like the way that you're conducting this. I mean, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
And I saw the interview between, I've seen your podcast with Brandon, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I know Brandon, so fair enough, a little bit of bias.
Yeah.
I love Brandon, so he's my friend, so
Brandon's
fair
a really
enough.
cool dude.
Yeah, but you guys did such an amazing job, and I know Corbin a little bit, but not that well, but I still love him. Like, I would go to war for him right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you guys are friends, that means if something happens when we go out tonight later, I'm gonna go to war for you too, because I trust him that much because of the connection, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are doing this, I don't think just to profit. I don't get that vibe. I think you trying to. I get the sense that you are building meaning out of it, and that's the reason behind it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to help people first and foremost and have it be a valuable time spent listening.
And that's why we get along. At least you and I, like, we're just meeting. We're just meeting now, but Corbin and I always get along really easily since we've met many months ago.
Yeah.
So that's like a beautiful thing, and that's we can't really do much more than that, right? We can't necessarily become billionaires tomorrow, but we can definitely do what we can now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing an amazing thing. So thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, thanks. You are too.
Thank
brother.
you for coming on. What piece of advice would you give yourself at 15?
Great question.
If you could go back right now and you could be that voice that you heard, what would you tell him?
Hey, it's gonna suck for a while.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like behind the 8 ball. You're gonna have to suck for a bit. No one really thinks you're cool right now. Maybe a couple of your friends or whatever. You're gonna have to be a dork for a while, and you're gonna have to suck shit. But if you can work on these things for a while, and if you're actually dedicated to becoming that man, then eventually people are going to tell you that the way they see you primarily is exactly the way that you didn't ever think you could be seen.
Yeah.
Today, if I asked you guys, We've never met, Andrew.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you in a second. But the way that when I asked my friends a few years ago, who I had met after I had gone through this, hey, guys, let me ask you a quick question. I sent them 3 questions. What are my 3 best qualities? What are my, what can you rely on me for? What can you not rely on me for? What am I the best in the world at?
Yeah.
I sent it to like my 10 best friends. The friends who I had met about half a decade after that moment at 15, all of them described me as far as my best qualities and what I'm best in the world at. They described me how I had intended for myself to be, which was the opposite of how I felt at 15.
Yeah.
So if I ask Andrew right now what his impression, first time meeting you today in your house, thank you for having me.
Of course.
What your impression is of me, I would guess that you would say something pretty similar to what I intended myself to be. And that was basically a little bit of patience and like, I'm going to have to be a fucking dork for a bit and suck shit and get rejected and feel like shit for a little while. And then it just pays off.
Yeah.
Like you're a stud. So you're like gonna crush. Like you're going to be teaching I already learned from you as it is right now. How old are you now?
23.
Yeah. You're 9 years younger than me. I learned from you as you are now. You're a stud as it is. I'm already learning from you now. Don't you feel the same?
Oh, yeah.
He's a stud now.
He's way ahead of his time.
Yeah, you're a stud now. So I think that the goal, the lesson is, if you're way behind, just have a little patience, learn from guys like yourself, and just be like, fuck, all right, let's just dial in. It's gonna pay off, and it does. And then eventually, before you know it, people are like, they see you how you intended for that people to see you way back. And like the initial impression that you give people is exactly what you thought you could never be.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible feeling, man.
Yeah. And so it's Janko, I think, the dude that really good clip. It's like anytime there's going to be a point in time where you just have to go through shit. You got to be a dork for a little bit. You got to be a loser for a little bit. You got to eat shit, kick rocks for a little while. Whenever you're going through those times, it's one of those things, just change your mindset into thinking this is good. This is the stuff that I have to go through now to become the man that I'm going to be someday.
Yeah, it's
You
beautiful.
have to just accept it.
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
whenever you start feeling down or low, or you're in a bad spot, or you're going through a bunch of bullshit at the time and you feel like there's no way out, just think to yourself, good. This is the shit. This is the valley that I'm in right now, but we're on our way up.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having
Alex,
me,
where
guys.
can they find you?
Nah, all right, fine. We're trying to figure that out. But go to @It's Alex Walton, ITSALEXWALTON on Instagram, and then click on. I have too many affiliate Instagrams. We're trying to figure it out. Boss Life Social is where we're posting the reels from now on.
Like them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like probably that one.